Hello, we've got Sallyanne Hartnell from Reflect Coaching with us today. Welcome, Sallyanne. It's lovely to have you here.
Thank you, Lisa. Nice to be here.
Tell us about Sallyanne and Reflect Coaching. What has brought you here today? What has been happening in your life?
It's a long time ago now, but Reflect Coaching was really born out of my own journey through separation, divorce, and parenting afterwards. So my divorce was finalised in 2012, and we probably started that process, I'm going to say 3 years prior to all the paperwork and stuff being finalised. We did it really amicably. We still get along quite well after all this time. We've got 2 children who are now not children, they're 24 and 21. And we, as I said, we did it amicably. But there was a missing piece for me.
Yeah.
That was the emotional, psychosocial support, someone to hold my hands through it, make sure
Yeah.
I didn't miss things, make sure that I didn't get lost in the overwhelm, be that emotional or practical. And so Reflect Coaching was born out of my own experience, my own need, my own want for that extra level of support. Not a lawyer, not a therapist, not a counsellor, not your best friend or your mother, somebody objective who's one step out of your emotional circle and can have more of a bird's eye view on your general experience, as well as with specific knowledge and understanding of separation, divorce, and the legal financial framework that we operate in when we experience what is a massive life transition.
Yeah, for sure. I think what I love about what you said, so many times you hear people say, I got into this because I went through a bad experience. I actually love that you can show people you can actually do this amicably. It doesn't need to be horrible. We can do this together and keep it calm and friendly.
Yeah, and
Um,
if I'm honest, that's another reason why I ended up starting the business, because people would come up to me and say, oh, you did it pretty well. We're about to do it. How did you do it? So
yeah.
there was a market there. People were wanting this support and this guidance before I even knew that divorce coaching was a thing.
Yeah, it's such a nice change to hear. It came from a place of good rather than a place of horror. Yeah, good
Yeah.
to hear. Yeah. Okay, so we are going to step into the admin world. So when you work with people going through separation or a major life change, what are the most common life admin challenges that do catch them off guard?
I think primarily it is the sheer overwhelm,
Yeah.
that number of decisions that need to be made and can only be made by them. They can only be made by you. And all of a sudden, it's without that extra layer of support that you might have had, even if it's just bouncing an idea off your partner. You don't
Yeah.
have that support. So it's being swamped and overwhelmed by the volume. Financial disclosure, which means all of your documentation needs to go to your lawyer or your financial advisor or your mediator or whatever. You've got to gather all that stuff, and that takes time and energy. You've got appointments, maybe with your coach, maybe with your counselor, maybe something for your kids. You've got your lawyer, your financial advisor, maybe real estate agent. Then you're juggling all of that with perhaps time off work, then supporting your kids, you're telling people. So the to-do list always seems endless. And then things that seem simple but aren't, changing perhaps all of your utilities, insurances, banking details, all of that just takes time, effort, energy. And I think the key thing that catches people off guard, and this happens whether you're the instigator of the separation or you've been blindsided, is that you're making all these decisions, big and small, while also processing the emotional stuff.
Exactly. I was going to bring that up. Like that's one thing we haven't spoken about. Yeah, there's the admin side. Yeah, which happens with what you were talking about. There's a lot of life events that all of a sudden your admin is huge. And most of these life events, there is also the emotional side that you have to deal with as well.
Yeah. And when we talk about the emotional side, we're also talking about being in a state of fight, flight, freeze, fawn.
Yeah, yeah.
Your brain actually cannot make, it's a physiological thing, you cannot make good, sound, objective decisions because this part of your brain has
Yeah.
been shut down
Yeah.
by the emotional part of your brain. So what I often find I'm working with clients on before they can even think about the admin load is that.
Yeah.
It's nervous system regulation. How can you bring yourself out of fight, flight, freeze, wherever you are, amygdala hijack, nervous system overwhelm, whatever you want to call it. How can you dial everything down so that you're actually able to not just make the decisions, but see the decisions that need to be made?
Yeah. Yeah. So I know you said you're not there for counseling, you're not there as a lawyer, but do you find you are counseling people through it just as much as looking at the systems and things that need to be implemented?
Absolutely. It's almost like if you draw a Venn diagram, I'm a little bit of your lawyer. I'm not giving you legal advice, but I
Yes.
understand the system. I understand the family law system. I've done lots of work around and training for even couples therapy with the Gottman Institute. So I can be a little bit of a counselor. I'm not counseling you to stay together, but I'm looking at the dynamic and how we can pull it apart. I'm not your best friend. I'm not your financial advisor, but I can steer you around in those types of areas. So I'm a little bit of everything.
Yeah, absolutely. I can see that for sure. Now, from your experience, is the overwhelm people feel more, it's what we were just talking about. Do you find that the overwhelm people feel is more emotional, it's practical, a combination of both? And how do these two areas impact each other?
We've talked about that nervous system impacting your capacity to make decisions. You're also processing grief. You might be holding space for your kids. So there's a lot of emotional stuff going on. And I think they tend to feed off one another.
Yeah,
You've got this massive to-do list and you're emotionally in fight, flight, freeze, whatever, overwhelmed. So they crash into one another. And what I find happens with clients is they either tip into that highly efficient, overachieving, get shiz done, manic type frenzy. I'm ticking this list off. I'm go,
yeah,
go. Or, and that's not healthy, right? Or sustainable
yeah,
in the medium to long term, or they freeze and
yeah,
can't handle anything much or even manage just simple everyday tasks. Even that feels overwhelming. A simple text message or email that they'd normally handle really well and really easily can tip them somewhere in the middle, but almost all tip into that overwhelm, exhaustion at some point.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I can't remember if this is on my list of questions, but I'm going to ask it now. When should people come and see Sallyanne? At what point is the right time? Because if they come early, does that help them to understand not just the paperwork side, but the emotional side of what you're about to step into? Or are they better off coming after they've been through that? How does it work?
I was going to say I always feel that's a terrible thing to say in this situation because no one loves or wants to go
Yeah.
through or wants to work with me. No one wants to need to work with me. But I really appreciate it when clients come early, even
Yeah.
just having discussions with their partner or they are thinking about opening a discussion about a separation or divorce because how you start that process really informs how it rolls out. If
Yeah.
it starts with a massive blow up and someone is threatening, I'm going to go and get a lawyer, it's really hard to roll it back. But if you can look at it when you are calm and regulated and you can prepare and you can start things gently and you can unravel a relationship, it doesn't always run an amicable path,
Yeah.
but it has a better chance. So
Yeah.
that's when I love clients or potential clients to reach out to me because I
Yeah.
support them with, right, this is going to come and this is going to come and this is going to come so you can be prepared for it
Yeah.
and set them up with as much success as possible for that amicable pathway. I also see clients at all other spaces along.
Of course. Yeah.
I've just been blindsided by my ex who's come and told me it's over, right through to we're done, we're through, I've got a financial payout, I still don't know what to do, where do I go now? So
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
through.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so when someone is completely stuck and overwhelmed, what would you say are the first few practical steps you can help them take to start getting their admin under control? But let's talk about the emotions as well, because that's pretty important in this.
The really obvious one to say is make a list, prioritize, prioritize. But as we've just said, you can't actually make a rational, objective, future focused decision, even if you've got a list
Yeah.
in that overwhelm. So the first thing is to work out what are the tools or the strategies that you can use to help you get out of that overwhelmed, hyperactive, hypervigilant state. What are the practices that work? How can you learn to regulate your nervous system? There are lots of ways to do that. There's cold water, there's movement, there's nature, there's meditation. And often my clients will go, meditate, I can't even. And so a really simple one that anyone can access anywhere is the breath.
Yes.
It's always accessible, available to us. Really simple breathe in for 6, hold for 6, out for 6, pause.
Yeah.
Or just make your exhalation longer than your inhalation. That tricks your brain and your body into believing that you're relaxed. So
Calm.
you do actually calm down. So the first thing is learn to regulate your nervous system.
Yeah.
Then the next part is get it out of your head, because there's all that spiraling going on, all that what if, what about that, what about, and what if I forget that, and what about? Get it out of your head, however
Yeah.
that works for you. Is it a handwritten list? Is it a list on your computer? Whatever, but keep it in one place,
Yes.
handwritten. Have a diary or an exercise book that goes with you everywhere, and
Yeah.
it gets handwritten in there. Otherwise, it's a note on your phone, or I love a Google Doc because you
Yeah.
can access it anywhere, right?
Anywhere. Yeah.
Whatever works for you, get it out of your head so you can free up mental space. And then, if you're really in overwhelm, pick the low hanging fruit.
Yeah.
What is one small thing that you can tick off that list today?
Yeah.
Small. It doesn't have to be the most important or the most pressing thing. Just get one
Absolutely.
thing off your list.
Yeah.
And I always say to clients, celebrate that, honor that achievement, give yourself a pat on the back.
Do you
Maybe,
know what? And we say this. So we literally teach almost what you've just said when it comes to task management. And one of the things I say is one of the biggest celebrations you could do is actually ticking it off or marking it off. I've done that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So celebrate yourself for doing it. The other thing I really love clients to do is to strip out decisions that aren't important and structure their life while
Yeah.
they're in this overwhelm in a way so that they don't have to make a decision. There's a reason Barack Obama wore the same suit, whatever it was.
Yeah.
There is a reason why people meal prep. There is a reason why we have pasta on Monday and we have whatever on Tuesday. Just make your life really easy.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. Now, are there any simple systems or habits you find that make the biggest difference in helping people feel calmer and more in control during the life transitions?
I often think back to my life, probably not quite when I was navigating the separation, divorce, but when I was solo parenting two very small kids.
Yeah.
In solo parenting for really big chunks of time. Their dad was fly in, fly out to another country.
Yeah.
So when he was gone, and
Yeah.
that's for long periods of time. So I feel like I lived in young kid chaos land for a long time, and it's aligned. There's all sorts of things coming at you. So one thing I committed to was making sure that I had nice bed linen and nice cushions
Love it.
in your bed. And every single morning I would make my bed. So
Yeah.
at the end of the day, when all of the chaos sort of had gone on
Go
around,
on.
kids,
Yes.
kids are finally in bed, even if the kitchen was a disaster, even if the lounge room had still toys and stuff everywhere, I can step into my room and go,
My bed's made.
my bed is made.
Yes.
It is.
I love that. Do you know no one else has come on here and said that as a suggestion? And I absolutely love it. And the fact you had the nice linen, and I was my husband didn't travel overseas, but very similarly, I pretty much was a single mum because he'd be away for 2 weeks at a time. And there's not a lot they can do, even if you can get them on the phone. There's not a lot they can do while they're away. Yeah.
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 I think the other things that I try and get my clients to think about is like structure and routine. That just helps reduce the number of decisions that you're making on the daily, right?
Yeah.
One place, we talked a little bit about this before, one place where all the documents that you need, all the things that you're collating for lawyers or financial advisors or whatever, it's all in one Google folder usually, or
Yeah, absolutely.
system that you use. I'm also really big on one thing per day that
Yeah.
supports your well-being, and just make that a non-negotiable.
Yeah.
No matter if it's a run, going to the gym, throwing a ball for the dog, 5-minute meditation, cup of tea in the sunshine, whatever, one thing, and it is non-negotiable. The kids know it's non-negotiable. Going a little bit further forward, if you've got kids and you have a relationship with their other parent that supports this, a shared calendar can be really useful, because
Yeah.
usually one parent, and it's very often gendered, there's usually one parent who's carried that mental load of what's happening for the kids.
Yeah.
School, sport, extracurricular, medical, haircuts, dental appointments, all the things. And that mental load, you can actually make it visible to the other parent by having a shared calendar,
Absolutely.
and then both of you are accountable.
Yeah.
The other thing I really want to encourage anyone who's in this messy overwhelm is outsource. And outsourcing can be as simple and as inexpensive as a box of chicken nuggets and a bag of frozen fries from the supermarket so that you don't have to think about dinner.
Absolutely. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. And I know when, and you, I don't know if you did the same thing, but when my kids were little and we were talking about that, I know this is off topic, but that was one of the things. My kids were in childcare. So come nighttime, it was like, we're having toast. You've been fed. So you've had a good meal today. Yes.
I have actually been known to say no kid died from eating cereal for dinner
For dinner.
for a
Yeah.
week. Yeah. Well,
That's
for dinner
exactly,
for a week.
yeah,
Right.
absolutely. So bring in those systems that are going to support you, and that's exactly right. No, no harm is going to happen from having a week of falling apart. Let it happen and do what you need to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Kids will probably love it, actually.
Yeah, that's right. Fruit Loops for dinner every night. Amazing.
I really also think it's important for parents or anyone navigating this to have that designated off time where
Yeah,
you're not thinking about the divorce, you're not answering emails, you're not looking at your phone. So, really, we talked about one self care thing or something for your well-being. This is really important for your well-being. Don't answer emails after whatever time,
yeah,
7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, whatever. Don't look. Have
yeah.
designated off time where you're not thinking about it.
Absolutely agree with you. Yeah, for sure. Looking at your work overall, what does getting life back in order actually look like in a real practical sense for your clients?
Sometimes it does look like getting to the end, right? All the agreements are made, all the paperwork's drawn up, it's all been submitted to court, etc., etc., etc. All the bank accounts are separated. You've done all that stuff. That is really awesome to get done. And there is a massive exhale when that kind of all comes together.
Yeah,
It takes a long time to tick all those boxes.
yeah, for sure.
Also, their wills and powers of attorney and
Yeah,
continuation beneficiaries. They're things that often get forgotten, but that just popped into my head. But what it really looks like is a recalibration of your life,
yeah,
a different routine, a different rhythm to your days. And that can be especially so if you've got kids who are moving between two homes. They're home with you, they're home with their other parent. So it's settling into that new rhythm and routine and finding almost rituals that support that. But on a sort of bigger, deeper, broader level, it really is about where I start with all my clients. And that is we start at the end. I'll say to anyone,
yeah.
like, okay, 2, 5, 10 years time. And they're like, oh, I can't even imagine that. I go, yep, yep, you can. Come back.
You're gonna have to.
Years
Yeah,
time. What does life look and feel like?
yeah,
That is where I always start. Let's define that. Let's make it real so that when you get there, you actually know that you're there.
yeah,
And you're also making decisions, those really hard decisions on the fly that we've talked about, those overwhelming big decisions, you're making them in service to that vision.
yeah,
If you're faced with a either or decision, okay, which of these decisions steps me and my family, if I've got family, my kids, closer to that vision I have for my 5-year timeline?
yeah.
Steps me closer to that more smoothly, more calmly, more quickly.
Absolutely.
Sometimes the fastest one isn't actually the better one.
Yeah. And you said it before, there are some people that really gets into their tasks. And I think sometimes you do that to avoid the other stuff going on, the emotional and the everything else going on. So it's easy to sit here and say, yeah, I've achieved all those tasks. But then all of a sudden, and you see this in when people pass away, all of a sudden it's now I have to deal with that, the emotion and the stuff you keep trying to put aside. Yeah, so that's why that question about the end, it's great that you've said about the 5-year look ahead.
I don't let my clients off the hook like that. If they're ticking off the list and just pushing everything else away, I'll gently remind them to just check in with themselves, like, how are you feeling? What's coming up for you? And the thing was like, yes, there is. It's not quite as brutal as that. But
Yeah,
yeah, so the 5-year plan is really about not necessarily how do I want my life to look,
yes,
living, where am I working, what are my kids doing, how old are they, how old am I? It's like, How do you want that life to feel?
Yeah, yeah,
You get to choose that now.
yeah,
Am I making decisions? Am I behaving in ways and making decisions that support that, bringing more feeling into my life now?
yeah,
Because you can. The other part of the busy ticking off the list thing is about control.
yeah,
It is
yes,
a way when everything feels so uncertain, when it feels like the ground underneath you is shaking and shifting and moving because that's what's happening to your life.
yeah,
Here's a way that you can maintain a sense of
control.
control.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. That's our questions. But is there anything else you'd like to say? Is there anything you've got on the go at the moment? Is there anything you want to promote? Tell us what's happening.
I guess my podcast is the easiest and most private way that listeners can access me, more information about my work. Always open to an intro call if somebody wants to explore working one on one with me. Now, if I say this, it means I have to do it, right? I'm looking at launching a new way of working with me, which would be more a membership group program. Now,
Yeah.
it's not a realistic thing just yet, but I'm thinking about it. And it's going to meet any of the people that we've spoken about. Probably not if you're still questioning, okay? But if you are in the messy middle, even through and out the other side, and it's really about reclaiming joy for life. Yeah.
It's an amazing concept in that you've got 2, 5, 10, 20 people all going through this together. And I'm imagining there's group sessions and you realizing you're not the only one.
There is such power in doing hard things in community.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I just say to listeners, if that resonates, jump on my mailing list for when it comes. I would love to bring it and in-person events as well as anyway, it's a big dream. It's a dream, but
Yeah.
it's a dream that has a lot of legs. There's a lot of admin, Lisa, that needs
Yes.
now in launching that. So it's a really long list.
Sallyanne and I were literally just off air talking about how much is involved in marketing and promoting. And yeah, so this is one of those things. But yeah, you're there for the support of people in a really tough decision process, everything. Like it's all the things. And it doesn't just affect one person. Whether it is just you and a partner, it's always going to affect two people.
And the ripple effect out, it's going to affect your sister, it's going to affect your mother, it's going to affect your fur babies if you've got fur babies. And there's also,
Totally.
we didn't even touch on about that, but yeah, there's a massive ripple effect. It's not
Yeah,
you, but you also don't have to do all of it all by yourself.
exactly. And that is what Sallyanne is there for. Thank you so much for joining us today. I really do appreciate it. So, yeah, I'm Lisa. My business is Life Balance Essentials. And if you do like any of our podcasts, please share them, send them around to friends, post them, and like them. So, and comment. We love comments. Yeah. So,
Ask a question. Yeah.
oh, absolutely. Ask questions. Thank you so much, Sallyanne. It's been absolutely wonderful to hear from you and your take on something really difficult for most people. So, thank you.
Thanks so much for having me, Lisa. I really appreciate your time.